Alright, YouTube, we're back, of course, talking some Tekken, but also Final Fantasy, something we haven't talked about in quite some time. Final Fantasy characters within Tekken. We definitely did a video some time ago talking about Tifa and Tekken, which is something people have been asking for a very long time. And of course, more recently, we have our boy Clive Rosfield from Final Fantasy 16 in Tekken 8, which sets a kind of a real precedent now. Like, before we talked about Tifa coming into Tekken, it was just like, they have a history of having a Final Fantasy character. It happened one time. We had Noctis in there, right? So maybe they would do it again. And then now we have, a Final Fantasy 16 character in another Tekken game. So now there's like an actual precedent set of multiple Final Fantasy characters within the series. We're certainly going to talk about Tifa and Tekken with this video to a certain degree, but we do want to show some love to Clive because he's apparently the most popular guest character in Tekken ever. He's apparently like significantly more popular than the previous most popular guest character, which was Negan, and is apparently also leagues above Noctis in terms of popularity. So what we have is a Reddit post somebody dropped a couple days ago looking at the ranked leaderboards when it comes to Tekken 8, and that's where we, I guess, have the numbers that Clive is a very popular character, I guess maybe the most popular guest character. So right here we have the Season 1 ranked leaderboard statistics and the individual ranks, and on the far right you can see GOD, which is the highest rank when it comes to Tekken 8, which is God of Destruction. And if we click on that, we get this graph, which I believe is like a usage percentage graph in the highest rank when it comes to Tekken 8. And pretty much every single character on this page is either 2% or 3%, except for Clive and 4 others, which are over 4% usage. We can also pull up this graph right here, which is the top 5 most common characters in like the higher ranks when it comes to Tekken 8, which is Bushin to God of Destruction. If you look at the bottom 3 tiers, which are the top 3 tiers, Tekken God Supreme, and God of Destruction, Clive is in all 3 of those. And specifically with God of Destruction, he's the 3rd most popular character. And the person who made the Reddit post had this to say in a reply under the post that says, on DLC characters, first up the star of this post, Clive Rosfield, he's very popular. He's literally the most popular guest character ever. He's significantly more popular than the second most popular guest, Negan. He's leagues ahead of Noctis. Despite what people said about wanting Tifa, turns out that tons of people picked up Clive. So again, TLDR, Clive is, I guess, very, very popular when it comes to competitive Tekken 8. Now some people have kind of argued against this, or whatever you want to call it, saying that he's either an easy character to play as or he's an overpowered character to play as. And those can, I guess, technically be the same thing as well, right? If he's an overpowered character, he's probably easy to use to a certain degree. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't play competitive Tekken 8. I don't play Tekken 8 at all. Never played it. I do like Tekken. I do like my fighting games. It's not a game genre that I'm super into. I've never like tried to get really, really good at fighting games, but I do like casually enjoy playing some Tekken, some Mortal Kombat. I really love Soul Calibur. I can never really speak to how like easy or broken a character is in probably any fighting game. I just don't have that kind of knowledge when it comes to that shit. But regardless of whether or not, he's an easy character to use, a broken character to use, he's very, very popular, and that's kind of the point here. And even though I do love Final Fantasy 16 and the character of Clive, and of course Ben Starr, he's a lovely guy, I was one of the people that's a little surprised about his inclusion in Tekken just because, for the most part, when you think of Tekken, the fighting game, most characters fight hand-to-hand. There are obviously some characters that have weapons, like Yoshimitsu, and there are other characters that can like breathe fire or like shoot like electric or something or lasers. There's that kind of shit in the series, but generally speaking, it's a hand-to-hand fighting game. It was a little bit weird to have a character like Clive who is primarily a sword user, right? And it can be said for Negan and even Noctis. Noctis obviously has a fucking arsenal of weapons when it comes to Final Fantasy 15. But that is a big part of why people have vouched for her to be in Tekken, because that's like a game series that makes perfect sense for the character of Tifa with the way that she fights, right? But especially when it comes to the remake version of Tifa with the way that she fights, like she just fits perfectly into a fighting game. There's actually a really cool clip that I seen not too long ago on Twitter from Sunhee Legend, however you might say their name. They put out clips all the time from all kinds of different games. They put out a really badass one that went, kind of viral, if you want to call it that, on Twitter, that I'll show you really quickly. That shit right there is insane to see. That's what's possible in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is not a fighting game. That's what you can do with the character in that game where you don't have the move list of a fighting game, right? Where normally you should probably have a lot more combos and things to do. Like, you can do that shit in Rebirth. It's insane. Maybe not you or me. I certainly can never do that shit. But it's the thing that is possible in the game. So again, it just makes perfect sense for the character of Tifa to be in a fighting game. If you're going to pull a Final Fantasy character into a fighting game, why not Tifa? But also, specifically for something like Tekken, why not Tifa? And also, I know 16 was, an exciting game, is a new direction for the franchise. 16's cool, Clive's cool. But you also had, FF7 Rebirth around the corner, and that's going to be a more popular game, like overall to like the general audience. More people are going to be interested in an FF7 thing than an FF16 thing, right? And given how popular Clive seems to be when it comes to Tekken 8, Tifa would have been more popular, which is something some people try to argue against, which is weird. I learned about this post on Reddit from Dreamboum, I think it says their name on Twitter, where they post like a screenshot of something and a link to the Reddit post itself. But in the reply, somebody mentioned Tifa, and he tried to argue against how popular it should be. So this person replied and said, Tifa would have definitely become the most popular character in the game in general if she were in, though, to which they replied saying, Tifa didn't even help FF7 Rebirth in becoming a self-success, and that's her own game. There's no point in having definitive statements about this. That was kind of a weird take, right? Bringing in the cells of Rebirth to the conversation as if that fucking matters to a discussion of guest characters in a fighting game. But also, like, 16 didn't sell all that well either. Like, Rebirth and 16 had, underwhelming sells, right? And if anything, like, Rebirth probably did better overall than 16 did, so, like, that discussion doesn't even make any fucking sense. Also going to say let's not have any definitive statements about this, as if it's not an objective fact that Tifa is one of the most popular characters in the entire Final Fantasy franchise, and certainly more popular character than Clive. Even people who aren't necessarily Final Fantasy fans know the majority of the Final Fantasy VII cast, right? So even like the average consumer who maybe didn't even play fucking Remake or Rebirth would recognize Tifa in Tekken. And like Tifa in Tekken is comparable to a certain degree, I suppose, as like Sora into Smash Brothers, right? Like something people were wanting for a very long time. And it wasn't until like the last fucking guest character in Smash Ultimate that we finally got Sora, right? Like it's something people have been wanting for a very long time. Just on the basis of putting her into a Tekken game, she's going to be a very popular character. Now, the only way she's not as popular as Clive, or more so popular, would be if she wasn't a good character, because obviously with that stuff we looked at previously was the ranked usage, right? The popular ranked characters and shit. So the only way that she wouldn't be popular when it comes to like ranked Tekken 8 or 9 or whatever the fuck would be if they intentionally made her bad, which wouldn't make sense, because you want people to buy your new character, your guest characters, right? So if you went out of your way to make her bad, why would anybody want to buy her? But that said, I've seen people that aren't even like Tekken fans, that are either Final Fantasy fans or FF7 fans or Tifa fans, whatever, that said they would buy Tekken 8 just to play as Tifa, or whatever Tekken game she might be a part of. They'd go out of the way to buy that for $70 or whatever the fuck, and then also pay to play as Tifa as well. So just from like a monetary front, right? Like she'd probably be the most popular guest character ever when it comes to Tekken, right? They'd probably make the most money from a single guest character by simply adding Tifa to whatever Tekken game. It's just really kind of dumb. Like, I don't know if it's legitimately Harada or Square Enix that are kind of holding this back, because I know Harada's like joked about it in the past about not wanting to add Tifa. Don't ask him about Tifa. And I know like Square Enix is really like strict about like licensing their characters and shit sometimes. So like maybe it's Square Enix's fault or whatever. But like, goddamn, both of y'all are gonna make so much money if you do this. It's literally just poor business on whoever's like kind of holding this back. Because I gotta imagine somebody somewhere wants to do this, whether that's on the Tekken side of stuff or the Square Enix side of stuff. But somewhere along the way, something's holding it back. Because why wouldn't you have done this by now? As long as people have been asking for it, like, why would it not have happened by now? And you already have a move pool to pull from when it comes to the remake games. From Remake and Rebirth, you have a pretty extensive move pool for the character of Tifa. You just got to add in some more basic combos, maybe some more extra moves and things like that to kind of fill out a move list for an actual fighting game character. But you already have the groundwork there. Like, she already fights like a fucking fighting game character in Remake. It's so easy to... Ugh. Certainly more so than Clive, right? Clive's got a pretty extensive move pool when you factor in all the different, summons, all the different icons and shit, all the different moves you get from them. So he has a pretty big move pool too, but she fights like a goddamn fighting game character. It's one of the things that's just kind of weird to me, because like, I'm a consumer. I'm trying to give you my fucking money, and you don't want it, right? Like, I'm not going to buy Tekken 8, regardless. I like Clive, he's a cool character, but unless Tifa's in Tekken 8, I'm not buying it. And I have a history of doing that. I said this before on the channel, I think last time we talked about Tifa and Tekken. Like, I bought Soul Calibur 4 back in the day because it had Star Killer in it from Force Unleashed. I played Force Unleashed. I'm not really a Star Wars fan, but I played that game and I love that character. I thought he was really cool. Thought he was badass. And he's in fucking Soul Calibur, which is already a franchise that I kind of liked, but I don't necessarily buy all the Soul Calibur games. But Star Killer was in it, so I bought that shit. And I think the same thing with, I think Soul Calibur 6 had Geralt in it from Witcher 3. Like, Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games, literally, of all time. I only bought that game because it has Geralt in it. If not for Geralt of Rivia being in Soul Calibur 6, never would have bought the game, right? And same thing for, Tekken 8 or kind of any future Tekken game. I'm not just going to buy a Tekken game for the hell of it, because it's not a genre or, game that I play a lot of, right? But if you have, Tifa in a future Tekken game or a DLC character in a Tekken game, probably going to buy it. Number 2 also, Smash Bros. 4. I bought that shit back in the day for the 3DS. Why? Because Cloud fucking Strife was in the game. Because I probably wouldn't have bought it otherwise. I like Smash Bros. Played that shit back in the day a lot with the boys on GameCube, whatever, right? But it wasn't, a series of games I was playing a lot of back then. But you introduce Cloud Strife into the game, you get my money. So if not Tekken, some fighting game somewhere needs to add Tifa into it. Because why has that not happened? We had her in Air Guys back in the day and that was it. I don't know if she's ever been in any other fighting game besides the Dissidia games. Like, why are we not doing more with that character? when she makes perfect sense to be in a plethora of fighting games. In fact, Ed Boon, add Tifa to Mortal Kombat. I want to see her somersault kick somebody's fucking rib cage out of their body. I want to see her do like the dolphin blow move, but the dolphin itself just eviscerates somebody in Mortal Kombat. That'd be pretty cool. The rest of the video that I'm going to do is I just want to kind of cover this, right? Clive Rosfield's a very popular character when it comes to Tekken 8, which is good for us in the franchise, right? Character from a Final Fantasy game crossing over into another game and doing well. That is good for all of us. But also want to rant a bit about the fact that, like, if he's doing well, like, Tifa would do even better. Like, and also kind of ranting in general about why the fuck isn't Tifa in a fighting game. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. System works in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @YT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Low Gain or leave it like Cobain.